I'm heading out to Gifford Wildlife Management Area. I've never been out here before. Looking at some trails. There's a couple streams. Looks like there might be 2 small lakes or ponds out there as well. But I think the maximum hiking distance is like 2 to 3 miles, and then you hit the Missouri River on 3 sides. It's kind of like a little crescent surrounded by the Missouri River. So I'm gonna head out there and see if I can find a spot to do a one-nighter. Kind of looking out of the weather. It's wet and muddy, but right now, well, my truck says it's 51 degrees. So that's pretty nice considering we're almost at the end of January. So I'll have some footage from this trip, testing out some of my gear that I've been doing in the backyard, but actually testing it out in the real situation, just like testing out my whoopie sling suspension that I've used in my backyard, my Enlightened equipment convert, just some other things. So we'll see how it goes. Just went through the gate, finally found it, talked to a couple people to find out exactly how far down to go. I guess right on the other side of the fence over here is like boardwalks and paved trail. Go on this side of the fence and there's nothing. You can see how much water we got. So even though right now it says it's 54 degrees, I still went ahead and put on my bigger boots because it is muddy and sloppy, and even the parking lot is almost overwhelming my hiking shoes. So threw on my bigger boots. We'll see how hot my feet get, and well, I'll update you on the way. State Wildlife Management Area. Apparently that way I can go anywhere I want, so I will. By the way, this backpack is not been on for very long, but man, it is, oh, lovely. It is comfortable. It's got a little bit of an air gap. I don't know if you can see that, just a little bit. Well, that's enough when that breeze comes that I can feel it in between my pack and my back. Almost getting cold because it's warm enough. I'm almost getting sweaty already. Well, if I keep going this way, I should hit the Missouri River. So I'm hoping to find a few trees fairly close to the bank, and I'll just hang out for the night. Here's what I'm looking at as I walk. There are no trails, so it's pretty rough, as you can hear. And whew, there's lots of crap laying on the ground. I'll follow this game trail. There's someone's stand. That's why you can't be back here till January 16th this year, because of deer season. I don't know if you can hear that in the background. I am pretty close to Offutt Air Force Base in Bellevue. Got some fighter jets flying over. A lot of things to go around, but no trail. But that's good. I won't run into anybody. And since I'm not really hiking all that far, guess it'll make it more difficult. since I think the maximum I could even hike is like 2.5 miles before I hit the river. Can't hike across Missouri. I'm used to Indian Cave. We literally only leave the trail when we want to go set up our camp. So this is a lot more work, especially when you come up to something like this. I gotta find a way to go around it or try to hop over it. See if I can go over it. Slide on down the hill. Woo! Ugh. Sorry, Shug. I almost said woo, buddy. It's trying to rub off on me too much from watching those videos. I gotta come up with my own catchphrase. Like, yippee-ki-yay! Nope, never mind. That's from Die Hard. Guess I'm not very original. Ooh, that was my knee. Woo! Already. I haven't worn my knee brace in quite a while. That was a close one. Dang. I made it. Missouri River. I'm gonna camp right on the bank somewhere once I find 2 trees. So now I decided to go ahead and just keep my pillow and my foot pad and everything inside the same bag. So now it's all just in my hammock. We'll go and get that set up. Heck yeah. Super comfy. So here's my setup for this evening without the insulation. I haven't got any of that out yet. I've got my jungle nest. It's got the integrated bug tarp, but I just flip that to the side and it works just fine with all my pea pod system and everything. Got my tree huggers up here, and I just hang my knife, my K-bar, from there in the night so I don't accidentally get in the hammock with it and poke a hole or anything. My tree huggers are connected to my whoopies. Got orange whoopies down here to the descender ring for the drip. My ridge line, which I set to 83% and never had to change it. It's perfect. Then whoopies on the other side, same thing. And there's my Z-Packs Arc Haul Zip. I was just suspend it from the tree for the night, just so I don't have to worry about sitting on the ground, especially right now. My ground is pretty muddy, so I just took a few little sticks to make a little stepping pad right there when I get in and out of my hammock. I don't know if you've ever heard of these. They're called pack-tach. You're supposed to use them on the outside of your pack. And what it does is it allows you to put a carabiner pretty much anywhere you want. So like, I can take my shirt, stick this little thing on the inside, slide the carabiner through it, out the other side, and there, no holes, doesn't slide around, and it just holds it right there wherever you put it. I'm going to attempt to use a couple of these, put them on my convert, and maybe toss it over my ridge line and see if it'll help snug it up. Then I won't have to use my ember to hold everything snug. Oh, I can already feel the warmth in here. Before I was laying in it, I could feel the wind whipping through. Not anymore. My feet in there, where I like them. Right over there. Now really it's not too loose, but it's, not where I'd like it to be. I got all this extra. So now, take the thing, lift it up, find the other one. There. That was nice and tight. So now I don't have to use my ember that I've been hooking on the ends just to pull everything tight. So now I can just bring this big bad boy. Awesome. I don't even know if I'm going to put my tarp tonight. It's a little breezy, but dang, this thing is warm, so I might not even worry about it. Ooh, it's going. First time lighting an alcohol stove. Just enjoying some hot chocolate and apple pie lar bar. So that Z-Pack Arc Haul Zip, I don't know what mileage I got today. It wasn't very much, but it was pretty rugged over lots of fallen trees and all kinds of stuff snagging your boots and tripping you, and just a lot of extra work, but that thing worked out fairly well. Kind of a nice day to try it. It wasn't hot, it wasn't too cold. I warmed up pretty good, but that little bit of a channel in the back, it does definitely help with the wind getting in there. Didn't have anything like sloshing around, moving around. I had my 2 little bottles of water, which if I'd have known I'd been this close to the river, wouldn't really even packed much water, because I could just throw something in there, bring it up, and boil it. So I'll have to remember that next time. Yeah, I don't even know if I'm going to throw up the tarp tonight, because right now I can feel the warmth coming off my convert underneath me already. That with my top quilt, I don't even know if I'll throw up my tarp. I don't think it's supposed to be very windy, but we'll see what happens. One thing about planning for a place you've never been before, there's a lot of stuff you don't know until you just get here. Those couple little lakes that I thought I could hike to and maybe camp by, turns out there's a fence. It's private property on that side, so you can't do that. That's why I went straight to the river. And the other side, this whole chunk of land is shaped like a big crescent with the river going around it. And I figured instead of walking down to the river, I could walk up and cross this big open field. Well, it turns out they got like 10 or 12 foot high fence. I don't know why, around this like cornfield. And there's no way to get through that. So if you want to go to the Missouri on the other side, you have to follow along the Missouri, go all the way around the curve like an extra 1.5 miles. So that's why I'm here, because I didn't feel like walking that far, and I just wanted to do this. Sit in the hammock, ask the Mako go. So the trouble I've had with using the convert as like an underquilt and pea pod is it's so wide. I crawl in there and it rests kind of on me, and then the bottom tends to sag. So as I mentioned before, I got a couple things, little clips called pack-tach right here. And all it does is it's got a little piece on the inside and allows the carabiner to slide through. So I can attach a carabiner without making any holes in my quilt. And all I did is got a piece of shot cord, bring it over, put another one on this side. Now when I connect it, sorry, my top quilt's got in the way in my foot box. Now what it does, it pulls everything nice and snug up underneath me, so I don't have to use anything else. And these things, they don't put any holes in anything, and you can, if I slid the carabiner through, then I could move it wherever I wanted. So right now I got it right about where my butt is, and it pulls the whole thing nice and snug. So it should be much warmer tonight, so no air pockets in between. And if I do get really cold, just take this guy, zip it on up. Then I got my own little pea pod. The other nice thing about these is if in the middle of the night I feel like this side is a little low, I just use this and adjust it up, and it pulls this side up and brings the other side down, and we're all set. Pretty ingenious. Tonight's dinner, we have Alpenair, Colonel's corn chowder, and in that little round container, one of my teacher friends brought that in and had it in the lounge, so I snagged a little bit of it. Apparently it is cocoa that tastes like, not Culver's, Cold Stone birthday cake batter ice cream, and it even has some sprinkles in it. We'll try it out tonight. All right. I am getting ready to hunker down for the night. It's early, but I'm exhausted. And hopefully I'll get a nice long night's sleep. I'm already nice and warm in here. Let's see. I don't know if you can see that, but tip from Shug. Got my down jacket wrapped around my foot box. And I got my top quilt right here, my convert right here, my little pillow behind me, and my fur cap, my buff, just in case I need to cover my face. I'm all set. I will see you in the morning. Good morning. It's about 7 o'clock, 27 degrees, so it got a little chilly last night. Not in there though. I was plenty warm in there. Didn't even throw out my tarp. Didn't have any issues with the wind. But about 6, maybe 6:30, only like 30 minutes ago, the wind picked up quite a bit, so I think that's what woke me up and started swaying quite a bit. So wind's pretty chilly. Just got my little buff on, covering up my nose, and heating up some water for my coffee. Breakfast this morning, Bandito scramble, but I never make it the right way. You're supposed to just add water and then use a skillet and make it like scrambled eggs. I don't. I just dump it in the boiling water, mix it up, and it's kind of like an omelet. Good enough for me. Had some visitors last night, 4 in all. 1 deer. Came up actually between me and the river, so that little spot over here, they came walking up right to that tree. There's a doe, and I just kind of turned to see what it was, and she skedaddled it back. And oddly enough, I had a turkey. He was behind me though, just waddling along, and then 2 possums, or maybe the same one twice, 2 different times. He came all the way, and the first one I didn't wake up till he was right here by my stool, right in front of me. I just looked out and he's sitting right there. So I just made a little, and he ran away. The second guy was over there by that tree, by the water, sitting there sniffing around. I just watched him. I reached up, turned my light on, and he ran away. But man, that second one, the second possum, he's making a lot of noise. So I thought it was that deer again. But nope, just a little possum. Fun night. Yesterday, pulled the alcohol out of the bag, put it on, lit right up, no big deal on the alcohol stove. This morning, I forgot to take an ounce and keep it with me, as I've seen many people do in videos and just forums. And didn't think anything of it, poured it on, could not get that thing to light. So, stuck my little bottle in my coat pocket for 10-15 minutes, warmed it up, added a little bit of the warm alcohol to the top of the cold stuff, lit right up. Gonna have to look up why it is that it needs to be warm to light. I don't know a whole lot about that type of fuel, so just got to remember that in the future. I'm on my way out, just left camp yesterday, headed straight to the river, and then did about a 90-degree and followed the bank. So today I'm doing a 45-degree straight shot back to the road, I believe. Still got to go left and right a bunch because there's so much fallen stuff and it's so thick back here. As you'll see right here when I get past this tree, you get areas like this. Because this next 200 yards or so, at one point in time this was all flooded, so everything here just is swept together and mottled up. So yeah, I'm gonna go around this section here and head on back to the truck. set you up, take one of those fancy shots of me walking away, turn around to come get you, couldn't find you. It really is thick back here. That could have ended badly. It's about 33 degrees. I did throw in my Marmot Ajax this morning when I was making my breakfast and stuff. Just kept it on. There's a slight wind, but not too bad. But I have to say, if there's anyone that is looking to get a down jacket, wants a nice, light, compressible one, I would recommend one of these. My wife got it for me for Christmas. Doesn't have a hood, which I've never really used a hood because I always have that big fur hat. But man, on the hike in, I had it shoved in this little, not even a compression sack, just a stuff sack, smaller than an Nalgene. And I got it in there fine, didn't have to press very hard. But man, it's got a lot of warmth to it. I'd recommend it. I lost it. Let's consult the GPS. It's one scrambled up 45-degree angle. Well, we're heading in the right direction though. I promise that's not snot, just condensation because it's still a little chilly. But just hit the gravel little path heading to my truck. I got like a, I don't know, quarter to half mile of this, so you gotta walk along the fence. Thought I'd recap some of the reasons why I think I'll be returning here. First, it only took me about 20 minutes to get here. It's in Bellevue. I live in Papillion, so that was nice. No more 2.5 hour drives, especially this morning. Instead of waking up, making breakfast, kind of rushing and be like, oh, I got 2 to 2.5 hours to drive home, get home about noon. I hung out till, I don't know, 9:30. Started hiking out and it's, I don't know, a little past 10 and got about half a mile to the truck. So that's my first reason. It's nice and close to home, which also allows Megan to feel a little bit better because number 2, I have cell phone service. So she was even able to call me yesterday when something came up and she had asked me something. So that was great. Third, you're totally by yourself. And there are no trails aside from this little gravel road. Once you get past the fence and start going, there are no trails. You are like busting through everything. You're completely by yourself. Fourth, my spot. Like as I followed the bank, I found 3 or 4 spots that would be great. Some of them are a little further back where you couldn't quite see the river. The one I used last night, I could see the river as I'm sitting in my hammock. I hear the water rushing, it was great. And that leads to number 5. I wouldn't have to pack in that much water. I brought 2 smart bottles of water, which are like 30, I don't think they're a little more than a liter. So really a little over 2 liters of water. Used it all, but I mean, I could have, you know, taken some water from the river if I wanted to. I didn't. I got my Sawyer Mini that I can use when it's warmer. Didn't bring that now because it's so cold, but I can also just boil water. So really, that's 5 great reasons why I'll probably be coming back, and hopefully I can bring John one of these times after baby Asher arrives. All right, made it back to the truck. Just want to point a couple things out. So all that bushwhacking, running through the trees and stuff, no holes, no tears, even in the mesh pockets and everything. Nothing. You can see those chunks of trees just kind of like hanging out in here. And we busted off, but no holes in nothing. Everything stayed together. I got my trash right here. So I think initially I was leery putting my cook set on the side, but man, it totally paid off because I had everything packed except for my stool down here and my cook set. I finished up my breakfast and my coffee, sitting on my stool. Everything else packed up. Tucked that in there, threw my stool on the bottom, put my pack on, and headed out. Turn this around right here. One thing I did notice, the way the straps are connected with these, see how there's a lot of play in there? As I was hiking, like when I ducked down or left and right to get through some of the trees, I noticed the bag would kind of wobble. Nothing horrible, but I mean, it's more movement than I noticed on my other one. But it's definitely more comfortable. I'd rather have the wobble than, my back and everything hurting. So overall, did a fantastic job. I left that little arch in there, which you can see now better when it's not on my back. I mean, on a lighter load, I'll maybe arch it a little bit more, but that helped. I mean, even with my down jacket on, I could tell there was wind blowing through there. There's a nice little cool spot right there on my back.